So in terms of accessing facilities and the accessibility of it, actually we're quite lucky that a lot of tracks and gyms, certainly when I started, were accessible. And I think the Paralympics have helped get people to at least start thinking about accessibility.
When I became Minister for Sport, when Margaret Thatcher very kindly asked me to be Minister for Sport in '87, one of the main objectives that I wanted to pursue, having participated in the Olympic Games just 3 years before and just actually 4 years before that as well, was to really focus on making sure that we recognise the extraordinary abilities of the Paralympians. And part of that was to push, as Minister for Sport, representing the government with the International Olympic Committee, to ensure that the Paralympic Games would always be held after the Olympic Games.
Sports actually has helped in a lot of other matters of access for disabled people, access to public places like lavatories, and all sorts of public buildings. If you look back, and if you're as old as I am, the town halls used to have a lot of steps, and public buildings, and along came legislation. But I think the Paralympics helped in that because it highlighted the needs.
The exposure in the media and the broadcast coverage of the Paralympic Games has changed extraordinarily since I first competed. When I started competing, there was very little coverage at all. In fact, just before I joined the GB team, when the team came back in '84, months later there was a half-hour documentary on the BBC, and rather than being greeted with success, the BBC received complaints. What are you doing showing disabled people on our TV screens? We don't want to see this thing. And over my time on the team, the coverage increased exponentially, and I was delighted when I was Director of Paralympic Integration for London 2012 to do the broadcast deal with Channel 4, more hours of more sport covering across the games, but crucially putting Paralympic sportsmen and women, Paralympic ideas and Paralympic values right through the whole schedule, not just the news, but through all of Channel 4's programming, and coming out with new program ideas which everybody remembers, such as The Last Leg, which really took the sport not only to the mainstream, it took it to another level and really looked at the essence of what it is to be a disabled person in the UK, what it is to be a disabled person around the world, and how we can use the power of the Paralympics to drive opportunities for and to change attitudes towards disabled people.